Hello, hello, and welcome to the Finding the Unicorn in You podcast. What a beautiful day to inspire lives. My name is Jaime G, Raygoza, your host, and I am so excited to have you here. Let's get ready to meet some fantastic unicorns and learn how to unleash the inner unicorn in you. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Finding the Unicorn in You. Today, I have a very fancy and stylish individual with me. We met about a year ago on TikTok, and he is a thrifting tour guide based in LA. He works with several brands such as Venmo, Swim Outlet, Crossroads Trading, and Goodwill SoCal, just to name a few. So I'll let him give a better introduction of himself. So without further ado, here's Mr. Greg Gusto.
Hi, everyone. The pleasure to be on the podcast.
Welcome. I've been so excited. I know that we met not in the most conventional way. We were liking each other's videos on TikTok and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I remember the first video that I saw of you, you were doing this walk on heels, pretending you're going to fall. And then you start doing this wonderful stride. And I was like, this guy is fantastic. I need to talk to him. So tell me about your journey and how you even started on TikTok to where you're at now.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so funny that we met on the FYP. How many people can say that? That's pretty cool. And especially in the time of 2020, that's really where I started playing around with TikTok. I saw it as a creative outlet and it was a new form of social media. I had a YouTube channel back in 2010 and I've always been interested in blogging and social media. I was a part of Instagram in the early days and saw how it's changed from a photo sharing app to where it is today. With me, I was doing this challenge where I was going to try to do one video on TikTok every single day. What you saw of me doing my fabulous strut, I literally saw somebody do it and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Let me try and do it. And that was the first video that really hit. And it was this feeling of, oh my gosh, I've never had anybody see a video that I've made and get that level of comments. There were people from Turkey commenting on this video and duetting it. And I was like, this is insane. After that moment, that really got me excited about doing video content. During 2020, we were at home and things set in and it made me focus on what I wanted to do. And that is creating videos.
At first, I noticed that you did a very large array of things. And then you started to really niche down and you started going into thrifting and you really started seeing your special talent to be able to put a lot of pieces together and finding these hidden gems in these thrift stores and making these fabulous outfits out of them. So how did you even get into that and the world of fashion and thrifting and all of that jazz?
I got into thrifting in high school. One of the first couple times I went to a thrift store was I worked at a summer camp and on our days off, there weren't that many things to do in town. So we would go to thrift stores and just find different things. And when you work at a summer camp, there's a lot of different events or things like that. You dress up, you're working with kids there to have fun. We would thrift these things and create outfits. And in high school, I always really liked fashion. I always liked dressing up. But in high school, I feel everyone's style was the same. People would wear Hollister, Abercrombie and Fitch. It was all, you wanted to be a walking billboard. Wearing thrifted clothing wasn't the coolest thing. Look how, liked wearing clothes that my dad would wear or even my grandfather. I would wear certain things to school that I was like, I just think this is cool. I'm going to wear it. It makes me feel good. Thrifting was that avenue to get exposure to different types of clothing, different types of brands at a really affordable price where I could afford it and be able to experiment and learn about fashion. One of the beautiful things is you can find so many unique pieces or learn about different designer brands or not even designer brands, just smaller businesses through thrifting. And you just have to have kind of an eye or a desire. And what propelled me is I wanted to feel good about myself. And I feel clothing is that kind of vehicle that allows me to express myself and really be creative. That's what really got me into thrifting. Now it's become this thing that's super trendy because everyone, especially Gen Z, they want to have their own unique style. I think that's why thrifting has become so popular. People want that unique style. And when you wear something from a thrift store, most times people are going to be like, where did you get that? And you can say it with pride. You're like, I thrifted it. I found it.
It's a real talent because one, you need to know what you're looking for. And then two, you need to have a good eye on how to match the different fabrics with a different design, the different patterns. It's not just about the brand, but also how do I make these pieces work with other pieces in the store or what I have at home? I know I've gone thrifting and I buy some things, oh, that looks pretty. And I go home and I have nothing to wear it with. So who taught you how to mix and match these things? Or was it self-taught? And how does one who's pretty fashion illiterate on my sense learn how to do that?
Something that a lot of people don't know about me is I definitely feel I fall on the colorblind spectrum. There sometimes I do not match. And sometimes the way I see things is literally just different than how most people see the world. I've always wanted to play with different types of styles and whatnot, just being unafraid to find something unique and just, I obviously had a style evolution that I definitely tried a lot of things that didn't work. But then over time, you find like, okay, this fits my persona. This fits my aesthetic. And then you refine it. It's just like any skill. You have to train yourself over time. The way that I started is I just bought the most crazy, unique things. And I was like, I just love this. I just want this. I think over time, you have to get more refined because something that happens is you get all these crazy kooky pieces and then you don't know what to do with them. Having a couple fun statement pieces is great, but building up what I like to call a capsule wardrobe, things that you know that are going to work. So black, you can always match black. A black t-shirt, black slacks, black boots. It's going to look great. No one's going to say you don't if you wear all black. And it's very chic and stylish. Getting those essential pieces, a black t-shirt, black pair of slacks, black pair of boots. If I were going to tell anybody, if you're thrifting and you get one of those things, those won't go out of style. And you can mix and match those with other pieces.
What advice do you have for those people? And by those people, I mean me, who get those risque things that are like, I really like that. I like how it looks on that person. So you buy it and have it actually be worn rather just live in your closet for the rest of its life?
Oh, that is a really good question. Some of it is finding the right occasion for it. Where can I wear this piece and it makes sense? I thrifted a skirt for the first time and I was trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to go and wear something like this? All of the societal expectations in my mind were telling me, no, you're not supposed to wear this. This looks bad. All of those negative voices. But the first occasion I wore the skirt was at a play, actually. Everyone's talking about Jaime. And Jaime is a drag queen. So what better way to get out of your comfort zone than a story that celebrates breaking down gender expectations? Finding that right occasion can be the right vehicle for you to wear something that's a little bit different. Maybe pride could be one of those things where you're like, hey, this is something that I want to do, because it can be scary to try something on that you don't feel most confident, or this just is not your style, like a concert or something like that, where the opportunity there for people to be like, wow, that you took a risk and that looks really cool. That I would say most people would welcome in a space that's inclusive. I would lean on those types of events or things like that to do something that might be out of your comfort zone.
That's really good advice. A few pieces that I bought that I'm like, oh, this looks really good, but it's out of my norm. So if you look at my closet, it's mainly blue, brown, or black. That's all it is.
But those are good colors.
Yeah,
those are good colors.
It's the norm. I feel like they're my staples for sure. But then I recently started wearing red and yellow and orange. Okay. And I bought this very floral pink. It's translucent material, so you can see through.
Okay.
It has these beautiful roses all over the material, but I've never been that exposed before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is not something I'll take to a brunch, or is not something that I'll just casually walk to the mall with. Where can I wear this? But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe like some of these events, like you're saying.
I can visualize what you're talking about. If I'm going to wear something that might be a little bit more out of my comfort zone, is you can take a piece like that, like a mesh piece, and you throw a blazer over it, and you look like you're going to a red carpet event. You can wear that to a play. You could potentially wear that to a brunch, depending on what season it is. But I definitely think that helps me feel more secure in my body when I feel like, okay, I have a jacket on. It's that little kind of peekaboo moment, like a Superman Clark Kent type of thing where, okay, it's a little bit of a nod. You have your base and then, that kind of protective little layer where you feel more secure in your body and yourself. We all go through that. It's gay body dysmorphia. That is real. And we need to talk about that. Walking into certain spaces and also the power of feeling confident in yourself is something that we don't always tap into. And I feel like we should celebrate it in our community more.
I completely agree. And it's real, whether we acknowledge it or not. People tend to find one piece of their body that they're just not happy with. I've always been subconscious about my weight. I used to be not a twinkish person when I was younger, but definitely a lot thinner than I am now. And a lot of people don't really say things to you. You're saying things to yourself. You are your worst critic, and you need to get out of your head, because people may tell you something in public, but it's rare when they actually do. They're not going to really go out of their way to say, you look nasty or you don't look nice. A lot of people are just going to mind their own business because they probably have their own insecurities that they're going through as well.
I 100% agree with that. People's opinion matters to a certain degree, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. You shouldn't put as much stock into it about how people perceive you, because oftentimes it's not necessarily true. What's important is how you perceive yourself and what you are doing in order to be your best self. That's definitely something to be mindful of as you move through life.
Something that you've taught me, and I don't think I mentioned this to you, is that you can't really wear something wrong. I saw a video of you and you were thrifting and you saw this oversized jacket. And you show you 4 ways you can wear this jacket. And one of them was professional, or you're going to a nice dinner. Another one was you're going to go for a job interview. Another one was I'm going to wear this very casually, dressing it down. And then you wear it like a skirt or like a dress. And I was like, what?
I put a belt over it.
Yes. You changed the whole look of it. And I was like, what? You just blew my mind. You can do something that may not be the most conventional way it was meant to be, but you made it your own. And there's not one right way of wearing something. You add your own little flair to it.
Yeah, 100%. It's all trial and error. What you wear, it won't define you. Yes, it might look terrible, but for most people, there's not a best and worst dress list. We're going to have flops. We're going to have errors. We're going to have things that don't look good. They don't match. It's just clothes. And it's supposed to be an extension of what makes you feel good and what is an expression of you and bringing that best person forward. And it's going to be messy. There's going to be iterations and you're going to have good and bad moments, but taking risks in fashion, there can be a reward with it. As long as you feel good, confident, and you're expressing and bringing that person forward, then it's there to lose. Isn't that why we're all put on this earth, is to be the best version of us?
Completely agree. One of the common things that you keep hearing over and over again in this podcast is you have to be unapologetically yourself. You are a unicorn that I see do that time and time again. You are very fierce and you always slay whatever you do. You really embrace that unicorn quality. As a person in this industry, what other unicorn qualities would you say people need to be able to transition into this type of thing that you're doing?
With social media and content creation, you always have to evolve. When we met on the FYP in 2020, TikTok was vastly different. You could literally do very little and the views and the engagement and the community was there because it was a different time. People were at home. People wanted entertainment. People wanted something fresh to discover. And that was the beauty, I feel like, TikTok. It was very, you could be raw and you could really not put too much effort into what you created. And then fast forward to now, there's so many people on the platform, which is great, but you have 5 seconds to hook somebody in. They're already scrolling on to the next thing. Having the quality to be adaptable, ever changing, and like being true and unapologetically you, and bringing that forward. Because social media is forever going to change. I mentioned Instagram when it was a photo sharing app, or YouTube in the early days of when we saw content creators and we felt like they were our friends. I feel like I grew up with them and watched their videos of them coming out. And the coming out experience from the It Gets Better project days till now, I feel it looks so different. It looks so different. Just being true to who you are, but being able to adapt that within this ever-changing landscape is really something that you have to remember.
You have to be able to be adaptive. You have to be able to go with the flow, as you say. For you, what part of this jumping into social media and being a social media presence to where people are now seeing your face and you're getting to know you and you're becoming your own brand, what part of that would you say has been the most shocking?
Something that was shocking is the first time a video hits, you were like, I made it. I got my golden ticket. Move me out to Hollywood. Like, where's my agent? Let's roll out the red carpet. Let's pop the champagne. I have made it. I had a viral video. It's game, set, match. It's over. But the thing is with TikTok, many people have had viral videos, and it's what do you do after? And then I know I posted that next video expecting I am going to be top tier. No, it was like nothing had happened. The old news, nothing really changed that much. Having the ability to keep going and to be able to keep talking about the things that you're passionate about and really build on what you're creating is something that you have that initial shock. You're like, I gained success, but success, it's not just one moment. It's a multitude of trial and error, iteration. And that is the transition, right? That's the transition. That's the evolution. You have moments of greatness. And when you look back on it, you're like, okay, I made a transformation. But it's those small changes that happen over time, those small moments when that video hit, but then you got to be there showing up when they don't hit. Keep going, because they're not all going to be hits. They're going to be ones that, in this algorithm, it changes, people change. There's certain times where I am really obsessed with this show, or I'm really obsessed with this person on social media. And then we all change. That's culture. It's ever growing, ever changing. So you have to just move and groove.
There's highs and lows, especially in social media. You're going to be in a high where you get that dopamine rush. You're like, I'm making it. And then that low where you're like, nobody really knows me. What's going on with my life? With the knowledge that you have now, if you can give mini Greg advice, what would you have given him to be able to stay as successful?
17-year-old me, I was making YouTube videos, and you didn't know what you could put on the internet. Internet's forever. Be careful. And there's a permanent internet. But as a creative and as somebody that wants to educate and entertain an audience, there's a moment where you can either be afraid of it or lean into it. Leaning into it and not giving up on it. If it's your dream, you have to put yourself into it and be consistent and show up, being there day in, day out, and really showcasing what you can do. That longevity is what I would encourage a younger version of myself. Understanding that has been really eye-opening.
A stigma that I want to break that you mentioned, the fear of it's permanent. You're tattooing your life on this social media or this web that everybody's going to see you years and years from now. That was definitely a fear tactic that was ingrained into us at a young age. You're not allowed to be in a professional setting and have social media. You have to make sure you don't post yourself drinking. You can't do any spectacles because people are going to not hire you, yada, yada, yada. However, going into my dissertation and what I do, that's the baby boomers talking and that's Gen X talking. However, we're the ones that are entering and dominating the workforce now. We are, and as much as I don't like this word, we are the woke people. And we don't care what's on social media. Don't be trash talking people and be rude and disrespectful and be racist. But if you're having fun, you're showing a good life work balance, that you can still be you and still have a good life and normalize that. I'm so tired of people saying, you're a teacher. You're not supposed to go out having drinks. You're supposed to stay home and be a homebody and stuff. No, teachers can also go to raves. They can also go to festivals. They can also go out to brunch and have drink with their girls or whatnot. And there's not one way to be successful. You can be successful like you. You can be a social media influencer working on brand deals. You can be doing whatever your heart desires. You have to be able to take that risk in yourselves and display yourself authentically to the world. If you're doing it in an honest and respectful way, I really don't think you can lose. We need to stop getting rid of that fear of that permanence and embrace it. There's this quote from Schitt's Creek, one of my favorite shows ever. You have to be able to document yourself now because years and years later, you're going to appreciate yourself for what you did now, what you were brave to do, how beautiful you were and how youthful you were. So just document yourself now and put it out there. If not for anybody to see, but at least for your own eyes. So then you have this memorabilia of, wow, I used to be this amazing person.
100%. Something that I've changed in terms of an outlook is social media to me is that space where I can have that creative expression. It is an art form. It is something that it's a craft. It's something that I'm putting time, energy, and effort because I'm trying to express a part of me out and just share it with an audience. That's how I try to look at it rather than it's this permanent thing where it's, no, this is just where I'm at right now and what I'm trying to document and showcase. My experience as a queer person is I never tried on a skirt. Let me show you guys what this is and break that down because there is a lot of fear. Younger me would have been scared to death, not even thinking of that. Is this how I feel? Can I express this to an audience? If so, and you're saying pure intended, then share.
What you're doing is wonderful. And I need to applaud you for that because I wish I had people like you back in the day when I was still in the closet and I was trying to discover who I was because I thought it was this foreign thing for a man to paint their nails or to wear skirts or to be able to put on makeup. And I knew you even went full on in drag once and you looked really good, by the way.
Thank you.
At first I was like, what is this person doing on Greg's TikTok? And I was like, oh, that's great. So fantastic job to your friend that did that for you.
Yes.
But I wish what you're doing is showing people of now, the kids now that, wow, this is normal. It's okay for you to be yourself and you don't have to feel ashamed of just trying out new things, of being silly, of being you. And there's no one wrong way or right way of displaying your personality. And you can be this multi-layered individual. We don't have to be so compacted in a small box. We can be made of several different layers. And thank you for just showing that. That's one of the things that it really drew me towards you when I saw your page is that you are unapologetically yourself.
I really appreciate you saying that because there are certain things that I haven't touched for whatever reason. I didn't paint my nails till 2 years ago. I didn't try a skirt till a year ago. Being able to just have fun, express yourself. I remember growing up and being like, I want a nail kit, but then having that stigma of, no, you don't do that. Or wanting to try to play dressed up or do different things. Like those are things that like we want to do as kids, but then are told not, or that we should not. Now, like, what is the reason why? That was the big thing that I've started to question. Like, why not?
It was because of you, actually. You were talking about, and this had to have been like a year ago or a year and a half ago, but you were just doing something and then I saw your nails and they were really pretty color and you were talking about them. And I was like, I've never painted my nails. I was just like, why not? And I was actually at work talking about you need to do things that you're afraid of in order for you to grow, and we only grow through discomfort. So I was like, I need to show my staff and the people that I'm working with that I'm not just talking the talk. I need to also walk the walk. So I went to the nail salon with my sister. I got these really nice cat eye. It was like violet cat eye nail designs. At first I was like, I didn't even know where to put my hands because I felt so like embarrassed. And I was like, what are people going to do? And even the nail salon people were super nice about it. And they were like, oh, cool. What color do you want? What design? Do you want this? Do you want that? Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, okay. So they're being okay with it. And like the lady next to me was like looking and she's, oh, I really like that design. I want that next and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, people are being super nice. And the true test was I went to work and I had a meeting with my boss and I completely forgot because I already got used to my nails the whole weekend. And I completely forgot when I go into work. And it's not that I work a corporate job, but I'm in management and you have to keep a certain image. And my boss is a guy, wears like polos and like button ups and stuff for work. But I sit in his office and we're like talking and he like looks at my nails and he's like, oh, trying something different today. And I was just like, and I looked at myself, I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, your nails. And I was like, oh yeah. He's, oh, that's pretty cool. The color looks nice on you. And I was just like, thanks. I was like, wow. Another guy who is, I perceive very masculine and very traditional is okay with it. And it just made me very empowered and felt like, you know what? It is okay. I can do whatever the heck I want. And I haven't really colored my nails since, but I'm going to go again.
I love that story. And honestly, I can relate to that a lot. I had a similar experience going into certain spaces and having this concept that people were going to really heavily judge me, and then realizing that that wasn't the case. And there have been experiences where I have had people judge me, and then having the negative feedback come to me and being like, okay, you said something negative and I'm going to move forward because it's just your opinion, and your opinion shouldn't change how I express myself. Having two different experiences, one positive, one negative, or multiple on either side, has been affirming in both ways. Having the positive feedback and also having the criticism too. But either way, I'm okay with me. I should proceed and continue to live my life in ways that are affirming of my creative expression in whatever capacity it lives, as so long as it doesn't harm other people.
Completely agree. And second thing I wanted to talk about, I'm finally, my brain's going all over the place. I'm digressing, but I wanted to go a little bit back on the thrifting portion. So I mentioned to you earlier that some people have a stigma that thrifting is not like a good thing because it's cheap. It's not the real price of whatever it may be. Sometimes it's fake. Personally, I had a very bad experience thrifting when I was younger. It wasn't me, it was my mom. So my mom used to go to Goodwill all the time. I grew up in a very low income family and we barely had money to get by. She wanted to buy me a really nice backpack for school. And I forget what brand it was. It was Mud, MUD or something. I forget. It was like this girl brand.
I'm here. Yes, I remember Mud.
Yes. And she bought this it was a nice bag. It was a really nice, sturdy backpack. It was brand spanking new, but it was in the thrift store. So she bought it very proudly, gave it to me, and I was excited because I liked it. It was a nice color. All my books fit in there. I had like little compartments and it was nice. So I go into, this was elementary school, and I got bullied so bad from all the guys and even the girls making fun of me, saying, you're wearing a girl backpack. Wow, you're a boy. You should be wearing that. Wow, this sissy. And this is the time where I've always been a more effeminate guy. I was scarred. I came home crying. I threw my backpack in the trash. My mom was like, what's happening? You got me this like girl backpack. Everybody's making fun of me. And then after that, my mom's, we're never going thrifting because you don't know what you're going to get. And she made the whole experience feel like thrifting was the bad situation here. Not that it was the brand itself. It was more so the people that were the problem, but I got scarred from that and I've never gone back because I was like, I don't want to buy something that is then going to be, that is good. And then it's going to be perceived bad. But like now having different knowledge in it, I know that's not the case. But for you, that you've gone thrifting so often and you've done this and you do videos on this, what are some stigmas that you would like to break about thrifting?
First of all, thanks for sharing the story. That's one of those things where just a difficult experience of growing up, right? The disparity is you love something, right? And people don't perceive it the same way that you do or look at it the same way that you do. But then you associate it with something that, like you said, might not be the problem. In terms of stigmas with thrifting, that there's a lot of different concepts, and even with the word thrifting itself, certain people see it as buying something secondhand. Some people see like vintage clothes even as thrifting, which if you want to split hairs, that there's a difference between vintage and thrifting. So vintage, I think, is super curated. So curated clothes where somebody is like intentionally selecting items. Usually they are secondhand, but they're collecting and curating and saying, hey, this is a style, and then putting it out there. Whereas thrifting is more luck of the draw. Like you go into a store and like someone donated it and it's fair game and it's priced at what it's priced and you can grab it. That there is sometimes like a negative association that it's maybe only for a certain type of person. The beauty of thrifting to me is it's something that is accessible, that I appreciate that it allows people to experiment or do different things with their fashion, and it's at a price point that most people can afford. That's one of the great things about it, is that, like, for instance, I don't know if I would have tried on a skirt if I thought, okay, the barrier to entry is low this is something where I can give it a try. And I feel like it's not me buying something like brand new from a store, but I feel like I can try it and see if I like it. That's the things that I consider when going into a thrift store.
You mentioned a lot of good stuff so far, and this has been such an amazing conversation. And I've learned so much about thrifting, so much about social media. It's really hard to putting in the social in social media. How do you socialize with these people, especially in a platform where you may not see them again because it's every 5 seconds you go through a whole new video. And one of the things I hate about TikTok is that like you like something and then you accidentally swipe down and then it goes away forever and you never find it again. If you didn't like it, oh, that's that it's over. Like, how do you socialize? So I totally get that being a big obstacle, especially like to connect with all these different individuals that you may not see again.
Yeah, I 100% am there with you. Is like, how do you bridge that gap? Like, Instagram is another like social platform, of course. Even like socializing on there, like I've developed, like friends like on the app and built more of a community there. But even there, it's different than TikTok for sure. And I mentioned to you, I've tried YouTube a couple times. I feel like with YouTube, like there was that community aspect, but then now I feel like it's very much like it's a broadcasting channel. Like it's like you and the audience are a little bit separated. I would love to dive into the platform more. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on TikTok, growing that platform, and then maybe take things over to YouTube eventually. I would love to do like longer form content because there's only so much you can story tell within 15 seconds. It's good because it forces you to get better at the craft. But at the same time, I know I will spend time in creating a video and then you look at the analytics and like some person that the average watch time was like 5 seconds. And I'm like, you didn't even hear anything I had to say. But
I know.
That's the thing. You're competing with and trying to find people's attention.
Yeah, I completely get that. And it's hard. It's a balancing act. But I do have to say you're doing a fantastic job. And you probably know it yourself and you don't need the pat in the back, but I'm still going to give it anyways. You're doing a fantastic job. I see everything that you're doing and how many people you're inspiring. And if it means anything, you inspired me every single time that I see one of your videos. I will always be your number one supporter in that aspect of like, yes, he made another video. Yes, I love that. He made another brand deal. Yes. Like when you succeed, I feel like I'm succeeding and I'm like, yes.
That is a part of the community aspect of things is I don't think I know I wouldn't be able to have made these opportunities happen if it's not for you commenting. And I really am appreciative of that. If someone takes the time to make a comment, like that is really, it's so important. Or if somebody shares the video or posts it on their story, like those are the things that create community when you're able to see that there are people that do care and your wins are their wins. And it's very much something that like, I wouldn't have the opportunities if people didn't take the time to say, I love that, or I want to share that with somebody or what have you.
It doesn't take a long time just to say, hey, I'm going to support my friend. And let me just say, great job. Keep doing this. I like, just like it.
Exactly.
Comment. And it helps you so much because it does tell the algorithm, keep pushing this forward to send it to other people, made your own community. So that's good. But thank you so much for everything that you do. And I have one final question for you. In your opinion, what is one thing that people can do to kickstart their transformation from becoming from where they are now to tap into their inner unicorn?
The biggest thing in terms of kickstarting and transformation, attitude. You have to have that mindset of that fearlessness. You're going to go for it. You're going to change and you want it. I think that is the key really to any transformation is you have to really want to see it happen. It starts from the mind, in the mind's eye of I want this and I'm going to make it happen in order for the change to occur.
I completely agree. You can't successfully transform yourself or achieve a certain goal if you don't have the right attitude and the right mindset. For example, somebody who wants to lose weight, they're not going to be able to lose weight unless they are willing to put their mind into it and actually have the attitude to do it. And same thing, if you're not going to be able to make it into social media or into whatever career you want to go into, unless you have that grit or that attitude to really say, I'm going to do it. and I'm going to achieve it no matter what it takes.
100%. Yeah.
And I know we talked a lot about your social media. Now it's time for you to let everybody know, for those that want to connect with you or have questions about thrifting or just your social media adventure, how can they get in contact with you?
Yes, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Greggusto, as well as YouTube. But my primary platforms are TikTok and Instagram.
Thank you so much. I love this conversation. I can talk to you for days, but unfortunately, we do have to stop. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with me. And for anybody listen, if you like this type of content, feel free to leave a 5-star rating. Episodes come out every Friday at 7 a.m. And until next time, thank you so much.